could you please introduce yourself to the camera?
So, my name's Millie Martin and I'm 17 years old and a student at Hillsmere College.
Could you please define what you believe pornography to be?
So I think when the idea of porn kind of comes to mind, I feel like it's recorded sex but very put on, kind of like foreplay kind of thing. So very put on, over sexualized sex between a man and a woman, but it's like, yeah, very foreplay, over the top, kind of unrealistic sex.
From your perspective, what are the 3 key ways in which pornography has affected everyday life in school today?
I think it's definitely affected, first of all, like the views on women, definitely. Like the ideal body type, I think that the influence of porn has really affected and damaged the views of women and what women are supposed to look like, and the ideas of like shaving and how big your breasts are and your bum, and I think that's been really over sexualized, and kind of it's this idea now that people need to fall into. I also think that
Because I can edit.
you can
I
edit,
can
okay.
edit in.
I'm just trying to think. Might need some time to think about the question. I think so definitely that, but also the type of like just the unrealistic kind of relationship between a man and a woman, or a woman and a woman, and whatever it might be. I think it's just really unrealistic, and it's not really based on respect or intimacy really. It's kind of just sex, and it's kind of giving this false impression of what a healthy relationship should be, or what a healthy sex life should be, and I think it makes it really unrealistic, and it's quite damaging for young people, and especially since everyone's kind of watching it. I think the views are kind of shared without throughout the year groups and friends and things like that. So yeah, I only have 2, but
No, that's fine.
yeah.
So do you think like the way students talk to each other, do you think in any way that that's influenced by the porn that they watch?
Definitely. I think that the way that people over-sexualise, it's just again this idea of over-sexualisation. You can't really be friends with someone, and I feel like it's difficult for a woman and a man to be friends with people like each other, because it's always about sex or more than just friendship, and I think that it's definitely influenced the way that I feel boys talk about girls. From what I'll sit around a table with certain boys and I'm quite disgusted by the way they talk about other girls, and I think that's definitely been influenced by the things they've watched on the internet, and just kind of how they've surrounded themselves with this fake culture of what girls should be like. So yeah, definitely.
Okay. In what ways do you see the syllabi within your subjects being affected or influenced by porn?
So in English especially, with the reading of like Chaucer and the Duchess of Malfi, and even the Great Gatsby, I think that the women in the books, and through like historically in literary pieces, women have just been over-sexualised completely, and only been described by their physical attributes rather than who they are as a person. So I think that, sorry, am I like talking about the porn and my subject, how porn influences my subject? Okay.
Yeah. Or just anything, if you like, because I know you do geography.
I do politics, French, English.
Never mind.
Don't worry. No, yeah, definitely just the kind of how sexism has kind of just followed through history, and how it's been reflected in literature, but also how it's carrying itself on into media and porn. I think that it's hard to see an end of sexism when it kind of just carries itself through the decades, and especially through subjects like English, when you're reading about a woman in a book and she's just described by what she looks like rather than who she actually is. So, yeah.
Are there any other points that you'd like to add about this topic? Because I know you said you had some quite strong opinions when I first asked.
Yeah, I just think it's a really unhealthy thing to indulge yourself in. Really, I think that it's not realistic at all, and I think it's really damaging to not only the consumer but also to the people around them. I think that people think, oh, just, you know, boys or girls watching porn as a one-off, it's fine, but I think that it's more than that. I think that it does really hold. I think it just really does influence negative relationships, and yeah, I don't think that it's healthy at all. I think that it's really over-sexualised and overdone when a relationship's not that at all. I think it's not based on what's the word? Respect. It's definitely just based on lust. That's all really. So.
How do you feel about these questions that I've asked you? Do you think they've been biased in any way?
No, not at all.
Okay.